I was born in South Korea on the 27th of April, 1984. When I was only a couple of months old, I was brought to an orphanage in Seoul. A year later, I was sent abroad by Health Korea for adoption. I ended up in Belgium in a very small village not very far from Antwerp. Apart from my adoptive sisters, who also came from Korea, and 2 other adopted children in the village, there were no foreigners at all. Already as a child I stood out among my peers. I was quite different. Well, at first I thought it was because I was Asian. Later, when I reached puberty, I realized that things were more complicated. I moved out of my adoptive parents' home quite early, when I was not even 17. Freeing myself from parental control, I decided to follow my heart and crossed the most rigid border in life. I transitioned and started to live as a woman. Or better said, considering the age I was, I started to live as a girl. Later, at the age of 18, I moved to Amsterdam. It was a bit of a radical move. I came to visit the city one day and I simply never left. I never looked back again. It was in Amsterdam that I burned my old life and started a new one. I left behind my adoptive family and old friends and everything I owned, save for my clothes, and started from scratch. In the sense of beginning a new life, I enrolled at a gender clinic and started the long way to get surgery.
(2006년 5월 18일) 혜진은 5주간의 일정으로 작년에 이어 다시 한국을 찾았다.
Here. Traveling is so stressful. Last year was just very hard on me, like emotionally. I mean, I completely didn't know anything about Korean culture. And before I came, I was like, I didn't had any idea what to expect. I mean, last year I spent like months preparing and asking people like who've been to Korea before, like, oh, what do you do when you go to Korea and you're transgender, and like how, and like it was such a weird situation because nobody knew, and like half of the people were telling me don't go because they're gonna beat you up, and the other half was, no, it's good, you can go, it's gonna be okay. Like both of them were wrong actually. So that was very weird, because then I came here and it was completely different than I expected.
안녕하세요. 혜진씨, 영현씨, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I have something for you. I just let you taste something very specifically from Amsterdam.
Oh, very fast.
Oh, we don't have to eat them now.
Wow.
Stroopwafels! Real Dutch stroopwafels.
If you speak slowly,
Oh yeah.
I can understand. Okay.
Okay. I will do my best to learn some Korean. Well,
Yeah.
it's actually very bad because I dropped out of Korean school. Okay, just lipstick. Very quickly. Because this looks like crap. Korean adoptee, immigrant, person of color, transgender, a woman, lesbian, sex worker. Can go on and on and on. Yeah, I guess it's a bit complex, but well, it's actually very easy. No, it isn't. Well, it's easy in the way that, you know, I'm just simply me, but I guess it's just in society itself that makes it complex. Okay, actually, I wanted to bring presents for everybody, but
I understand. I totally understand.
I forgot my extra bag at home in the Netherlands.
Today, I didn't know which level
would be good for you. So I just choose this one because I thought this
와, 나는 준비 못해.
sentence would be like good. It means like if you have time, come to my home. And later, like, do you want beer together like so very like
깜빡했어.
usable.
아직 연락하지 못했습니다.
Oh, thank you.
웰컴.
It's good. 좋아요. I'm very shy today. I'm very nervous actually to see everybody again. It's so long ago.
Lots of people come to see.
내놓을 필요가 없다는
I know.
그리고
I
이거
know.
잘났어. 조신 씨가.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm nervous, but I'm happy. That's good. Happy is good. At least that's what my teacher used to say in elementary school. So,
이거 되게
happy, good.
Happy good is what's good.
It's in a few moments I listened to my teachers in the past. I just want to see some friends again. I mean, last year I came for 4 weeks and it seemed so short. So, like, you know, I thought I should go back to, you know, get to know some people better and enjoy Korea more than last time. Too much into this culture, like too busy, too serious, and always have to be serious, and never, like, you need humor in life. You need humor too. It's that with being gay or lesbian, being transgender, and all these things. It's so heavy. It's so difficult. You need a sense of humor to go through that. If you have a good sense of humor, really, like, lightens the load. That's why I'm so sarcastic. I might try to go to college or do one of the language programs maybe in the future. After I have surgery and everything's figured out. Try to apply for a scholarship. I just wanted to maybe take a visit to the orphanage. Apparently my birth parents dropped me off at the orphanage, but I don't have their names or anything, so only the last name of my father, which is Kim. I was supposed to go to like the adoption agency. Still haven't done that. Or maybe it's just like, you know, it's not procrastination, it's just that I guess I'm just chickening out of it. It's sort of shitty because I wonder, like, if I ever find my birth parents again, it's gonna be like the most uncomfortable situation ever. Being transgender and all that. I can't really hide that. So, I don't know, I guess I'm just afraid that they'll ditch me, like, for a moment they see me. I guess it's just part of me. I have too much fantasies in my head about my adoption. I have this idea in my head that my mother was this nice woman and my father was this nice guy and they loved each other but couldn't be. Anyways, lots of fantasies. I guess I'm just not ready to give them up or something like that. Can I take pictures? 사진 찍어요? 사진 찍어도 돼요. 안 알아요.
안 알아요? 몰라요.
몰라요.
몰라요. I don't know. 몰라요. 계속 한국말로 하려고. Are you going to study Korean?
I will try.
계속?
I will try.
Continue?
Yeah, I will try, but I'm very busy usually. Apple.
weeks Korea. What the hell did I get myself into? I don't know yet what I'm gonna do. Have my surgery and then get the hell out of the Netherlands. I don't know. I don't have much plans for the future. I never really think about the future anyway. So I just want to have my surgery. If I can't get my surgery, then life itself is just not worth it to keep struggling on. I'm tired of it. I've been doing this for far too long. Just drag myself on every day and every day, trying to get myself out of bed too long. 2007 I want my surgeon, and at least one thing in my life has to go better. If that doesn't work, I don't care anymore.
I'll scratch your back and you'll
암스테르담에 가요.
Amsterdam 오라고? Come to Amsterdam?
I don't know it's 가요, whatever. Something like that.
일단은 우리 집에 먼저 와요. Come in my home. At first.
Well, I do escort. I charge 150, I don't know. And I have experience with women actually.
I hope you can do the performance in Korea.
I'm not gonna do a striptease in Korea. Please.
Why not?
I don't want to get arrested. Stripping, just radical spoken word, radical, sort of more radical performances. If you dance, there's only one way to pull the dress off, and that's by unbuttoning it, and then it falls off. Like it falls off immediately. So I can't do that. It's not possible. I can't dance in this dress. That does not work. Just cut that off. I perform in Amsterdam now and then in it's a form of self-expression, accepting myself, I guess. Especially doing performances that are with very little clothes on. I don't have the perfect body, I don't have very big breasts, I'm not that beautiful naked. So so for me it's both a statement as a form, as a way to tell myself that, you know, I have a right to do that. I have as much right to, you know, be explicit and sexual as any blonde, big-breasted, slim bitch is.
혜진은 인터넷 채팅 친구인 사라와 사라의 독일인 남자친구 데이빗을 만나기 위해 처음으로 서울 밖으로 간다. 혜진 주위에 많은 친구들이 혜진의 안전을 걱정했는데
I go swimming. And then all Korean people think I'm crazy, I know, but because I swim now, but I'm okay. I think other people are more nervous than me. It's nice. For once I'm not being small. We are crossing the road. If we find a way to, yes, I think we are close to the point where we can cross the road.
Hi! Wow, it's very nice to meet you here. Yeah.
Very cool. Hi. Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Have you ever been to the sauna in Europe? No?
She hasn't been in Europe yet, so.
Oh, you should take her. I should take her to a mixed sauna.
I'm an Asian girl, so I think
So am I.
almost everybody should be looking at me.
Well, everybody looks at look. I'm transgender. Everybody looks at me when I go to the sauna. I look because I look
very weird, naked. But you know, it's like it's an experience. It's an eye opener. I mean, yeah, it's a different culture. Like like in Europe, you don't have as much body shame. I think that's not at all. Like, especially not in Amsterdam. Like people here, like just especially among friends. Like in Amsterdam, like you know, when you're among friends, people just take their clothes off and like you know.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a new bra, like just in front of everybody. This is normal and nobody cares. But here, I did that almost once, and I was almost like attacked by people. Like, "Ah!"
Oh, bikini.
I hope nobody, all those guys are staring at me. Probably. No, it's not cold.
I feel crazy.
Feel crazy? Because I'm standing here almost naked or what? In Europe, you should swim with this weather, but yeah, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. If it's as warm as this, a lot of people go to the sea to swim.
Okay,
Let's
okay, I
make sure.
trust you, I trust you.
Just don't do it far away from me.
I sit in the sand and I try it.
I love this girl. Makes me feel like a hippie a bit, actually. Good. I went skinny dipping. No. It was very much fun. At the end, a Joshi protection program was not needed.
혜진은 오늘 숙소를 제공해준 이숙 씨에게 저녁을 줬다.
잘 먹겠습니다.
잘 먹겠습니다. 오케이.
오늘 너무 예뻐요. 아저씨. You are so beautiful.
Oh, I go out, I promised friends I would go out dancing with them tonight.
Where did you go last night?
W.
W?
It's a lesbian bar in Hongdae.
Night?
I was home at I think 4 a.m. And then tomorrow this morning I had to go to the Sun Art Center. I'm still a bit tired. And we didn't sleep a lot in Gwangju because the floor was very hard. Oh, it doesn't rain?
사람들 많이 쳐다본다. Can you feel? Look for 뭐지?
Feel always.
Always?
It's always everywhere. I'm very used to it. But in the beginning, Youngnan had some problem with it. She got angry because people were staring at me. Not at me, but at other people. But I'm very used to it, actually. Also in Amsterdam, everybody stared at me.
Even Amsterdam?
Yeah. I'm very dependent on medical science because I do take hormones. I do have hormone treatment. I do want surgery. So, you know, that's one part. But the other part gets very annoyed with the fact that the medical community is very patriarchal, and is very conservative and does not see me as a transgender person as who I really see myself. They really push me into this box. So it's sort of this perpetual circle, like I need them, so I start acting like they think I am, so like, you know, I start conforming to their idea of transsexual people. So I go to my psychologist or the gender clinic, so I put on lots of makeup, I dress differently, just because I need to fix in this box. You know, they have this idea like transsexual women are very feminine, and that's the idea they have. So I have to fit in that box if I want to have treatment. So I do that, because if I don't do that, I don't get treatment. But then the way that works is that they see this and they use this as proof, oh, so we're right, because transsexual women, and then, you know, it's this very, very strange circle and very problematic.
이와 관련된 토론을 직접 페미니스트들이랑 이런 문제와 관련해서 해본 경험은 어떤지.
여성주의자들이 폐지주의를 지지하는 이유가 궁금하다라고 하셨는데, 그때 제가 생각났던 게, 남자애가 나는 성매매를 해봤어. 그거는 내가 경험할 수 있는 여러 가지 다양한 경험 중에 하나였고, 그리고 쉽게 경험할 수 없는 거였다. 그러니까 너도 한번 해봐라 라고 얘기를 했대요. 사실 저는 그 얘기를 들었을 때 그게 과연 가능할까라고 생각했거든요. 그 성매매가 젠더화 되어 있는 부분들, 그러니까 제가 아는 한에서는 한국 사회에서 성매매는 물론 있죠. 당연히 어떤 그 여성이 아닌, 여기서 뭐 시스 그렇게 말씀하신 부분들이 있지만, 제가 그 시스 그 여성으로서 제가 생각하는 부분은 분명히 젠더화된 부분이 있다고 보는데.
First question about abolitionist point of view. My personal experiences with discussions with them is the first thing they do when they find out a sex worker is going to participate, they cancel. The second thing is what I said. When I get into a discussion with them, the first thing that they do not get into a discussion about the matter in question about sex work. The only thing I feel is that they're busy to undermine my argument by saying that I'm transgender, so I'm not a woman, so I do not face as much violence. They say that I'm an exception. They say I'm controlled by a pimp. They say, so that's the problem a bit. I never really get into a discussion with them about sex work, but when I actually get to discuss it, the matter in fact of them, I feel that a lot of them have never thought about sex work from a human rights perspective, or from a labor perspective, because they're so busy having this moral issue about it, because they're so busy focusing only on the fact that it is female slavery and sexual violence. Second question, I think that there's a main problem not of gender structure, there's a main problem of stigmatization. Why don't you want to be a sex worker is because it's a job that is seen as vile, as dirty, as low life, and that has nothing to do with gender structure.
근데 저는 그게 그 남학생한테는 그게 경험이 될 수 있지만 나한테는 왜 경험이 안 되나.
But I do not feel that's unique to the sex industry. That's just a general perception in society. When a woman is promiscuous, she's a whore, she's a slut, she's bad. When a man has sex with 100 women, he's macho, he's strong, he's powerful, and he's that's not unique to the sex industry. And of course, it has a strong effect on the sex industry, but I think it's not that the sex industry promotes such an image. It's more that the other way around. It's because society is structured in this way that the sex industry structures itself according to that way, because it still exists within a patriarchal society.
섹스워크를 얘기할 때 여성들의 얘기만 한다고 같은 점도 있고 더 힘든 점도 있겠죠, 일하는데. 사실은 어떤 점을 같이 얘기하고 어떤 점을 다르게 얘기할 건지.
You have to really look at the diversity within it. You have a lot of women sex workers. You have very little men sex workers and very little transgender sex workers. The only problem with that is that transgender sex workers face a lot more violence in the sex industry than women sex workers do. They face a double stigma of being a sex worker, of being a sex working woman, basically not a man, a woman, and the fact that they're transgender. They face the fact that the sex industry and also other sex workers that are not transgender can be very, very violent towards transgender people in general. So that is the reason why I feel we should talk about that.
sexual skill difference between the transgender. Where did you get that information, and why did you positively agree on that?
I got the information from two sources. One was this research by this transgender person who did that among clients of transgender prostitutes, and one is my client myself. They always tell me I give better blowjobs than the women they've been with. In qualitative research, it is a fact that they say that transgender. The point is the reason why a lot of transgender women do sex work. It sort of has a certain amount of empowerment over them because it acknowledges them as women in many ways. So, which is a fact. That, so they're yeah, I guess they're more into it than. It's difficult to explain. I'm just better. Accept it.
Because you are
I don't think that has anything to do with it, because okay, like very bluntly speaking, I've never had a blowjob in my life. I'm never gonna have one, at least not that kind of blowjob. I mean, there's blowjobs that blow my mind, but that's something different.
혹시 제가 10세는 딸이 있는데 나중에 여러분과 함께 이와 같은 키워가지고 되더라도 한번 부인하지 않겠습니다.
감사합니다. 바로 이제 국발팀인데요. 이분들은 거기
Dearest mom, you're here and son has sent a message through. He's disconnected, but he still loves you. Weather lies and motor wolves and color printer blues on the engine air. His thoughts flow true.
올해 키오문화 축제 레즈비언 파티에서 퍼포먼스를 할 수 있을까 문의했던 혜진의 기대는 좌절되었다. 그리고 그 자리에는 드래곤쇼가 열렸다.
I don't get it.
You could do it.
I'm better than that. I mean, all he does is like dance a bit and lip sync. Anybody can do that.
When was performance?
In Beyond, you saw that.
Okay. Yeah.
At least I'm trying to do something meaningful with my performances, you know? Whatever. I can improvise, but you know, not in Korean, you know?
Yeah.
So if I would perform in Korea, somebody has to translate it for me.
I can do it for you.
Yes, but that means I can't improvise, you know? That means I have to prepare it in advance and you have to translate it, I have to learn it by heart and I can perform.
It's difficult yeah.
I mean, I can improvise in English, but not in Korean. I mean, like, yeah, I would only be saying like 미친년, 나쁜 년, 안녕하세요, 미친. No, that doesn't really sound very good.
You know what's the most ironic thing? It's when people who are different themselves are also
discriminated.
being afraid
Yeah.
of difference also.
Yeah, but that's what you got in gay community. The point is, most gay and lesbian people, they're just basically the same as anybody else except for the fact that they're gay or lesbian. Sometimes I even find that my straight friends understand me better than my gay friends. So I mean, I'm like, this entire thing about, you know, gay people, like people come to me like, I'm gay, I understand. Yeah, fuck you, you don't understand. I mean, it doesn't mean that gay people understand because they're gay. I mean, there's a big difference. In the lesbian community, transgender women are not welcome.
Yeah.
Because they're perceived as gay men. In lesbian community, only like transgender guys are welcome because they are butchers according to them. And it's the same for me. Like I go in a lesbian space and like I'm not welcome suddenly because, you know.
Yeah, I think that sucks.
It sucks, you know. Preoperative or postoperative, I should be welcome there.
Yeah.
And I want to have a fucking girlfriend. But you know, lesbians, they're so afraid of me that they get so scared of me, and I'm like, come come on, you know. I mean, I'm not a guy. I mean, I admit, you know, I'm more assertive than the general woman is because, you know, I was raised differently.
Yeah.
I was raised in the intention that I would be some guy, but I'm not. I mean, I'm completely different. I move in these spaces and I think, like, I want to have a good time. Like, just accept me as who I am. And they're so scared of me. Like, even my friends, like, even my lesbian friends, they like me as long as I'm a friend. From the moment I come too close, they're like, you know, oh, back off, because they're so afraid of the fact that I'm transgender. I'm sorry for that one, but it is true. Like my
always like that.
What?
Not all of them are like that. I mean, like,
Not all of them, but you know.
They resent you because you're
But it's sort of like the intention they have. Like, you know, when we wanted to go to Jimjilbang, like the first thing they say is like, but you should go in the men's room. And I'm like, you know, how can you say that to me? I mean, I'm like, you know, you're my friend and I accept you as my friend and like we get along very well. But how can you say that to me? You know me and you know I'm not a guy. So how can you even, you know, imagine proposing to me to go in some guy's locker room and a guy's shower? Because that's like the first place I would get, you know, whatever. 하나, 둘. In 13 hours, 비행기. Come to your room. I wish. 오빠.